Hey, and welcome to episode number 144 of the Brave Widow Show. If you are listening to this podcast or you are watching it fairly real time, I'm hosting a free 3-day challenge called the Grief to Growth Challenge. It will be over April 8th through April the 10th at 11 a.m. Central Time, and I would love to see you there. You can sign up by going to bravewidow.com and using the link on that page. I am going to teach you why it is that you feel stuck in grief, why you feel guilty going through this whole grief and rebuilding process, and essentially help give you a roadmap for how you move forward through grief, through rebuilding a life that you can love again. And I would love to see you there. So join me, go to bravewidow.com to sign up. Now let's jump into this week's episode. So, everyone, this is going to be episode number 144 of the Brave Widow Show. And I'm doing this live for the first time intentionally. I have had a couple of podcast episodes published unintentionally after a live. They weren't planned that way in advance, but I'm happy to shake it up and do something a little bit different this time. Today, I'm going to be talking about the 4 seasons of widowhood. So, we all have heard about the 5 stages of grief. Most of us have heard about that. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross did some amazing work to outline the 5 stages of grief. But the challenge is that as widows or as people in grief, a lot of times those 5 stages don't resonate with us. It just feels, I'm not angry. Does that mean I haven't gone to that stage yet? Or I haven't come to acceptance? Or I am in disbelief and acceptance at the same time. This is weird. How is that even possible? So, the 5 stages of grief were actually created for the person who is given a terminal diagnosis or for someone with a terminal illness. And it really was to illustrate their journey of moving towards acceptance of that diagnosis and acceptance of their own mortality. So, if the 5 stages of grief have not resonated with you, guess what? They weren't made for you. If you're a griever, the 5 stages of grief were not meant for you. But I like having a roadmap. I like having a blueprint and an idea of what this journey should look like. Because when I was first widowed in 2021, I felt really lost. I didn't resonate with the 5 stages of grief. I didn't resonate with what other people were saying. And I would get all sorts of conflicting feedback from people like, oh, there's no finish line in grief. It's never going to be over. Or, oh, this is just something you just have to learn to deal with it. You just have to learn to carry it on your shoulders. It never gets better. And that was super discouraging to me as a widow to hear that there's no finish line in grief and it's never going to be over. And all I could do was wonder, is this the rest of my life? Like, really? This is going to how I'm going to feel the rest of my life? But then I would look at other people and they had it seemed they had found happiness again. It seemed that they were enjoying their life again. And so that left me feeling really confused. Other people would say, oh, just give it time and you'll magically just start to feel better on its own. But thank goodness, one of the things that I learned when I got certified through Grief Recovery Institute is that the key to recovery and grief is action, not time. So if you're here with me today and you're a griever or you're a widow or you're someone who's just waiting on time to make it better on its own, that's not going to happen. Time is an ingredient of how we start to feel better. Time compounds what we're doing. So if we're taking action, if we're healing, we're processing, we're growing, we're trying new things, yes, time compounds that and time grows more and more of that. And so over time, in that way, things do get better. But I've talked with many widows. You can even listen to one of the previous podcast episodes with Sobia. She's a great example of somebody who waited for years waited for years to start feeling better through grief. And she actually ended up 3 years later feeling worse than she felt when her husband had initially died. And so time alone is not what is going to heal you or what is going to make you feel that you have recovered or processed grief. But as I have learned, as I have experienced myself, as I have helped coach other widows and other grievers, I was able to outline my own stages of widowhood, if you will. And then in sharing them with other people, they said, really, these are like seasons. And just like seasons, just like now, we're experiencing spring, maybe some of you, depending on where you are in the world. Or you might be like me in Arkansas, we have a fake spring, a teaser spring where one day it's 70, the next day it's like 40. I'm going to go see a friend next week and it's going to be snowing. You're not always perfectly in one season or in one stage. You might be transitioning from one season or one stage to the next. And so, what I want to share with you is what you can expect as you move from a place of grief and you move from a place of devastation to a place of growth and to a place of healing. And the goal is to give you a sense of hope, to normalize what you have experienced already, to normalize what you may experience in the future, and to give you hope that you can love your life again. You can experience joy and a fullness of life more so than maybe you even believe is possible now. Okay, so let me share with you our 4 seasons. So, our first season of widowhood, I call Devastation, which also think about it as like survival mode. Okay. You have just experienced this loss, your world is shattered. I think about it like if a tornado had blown through your neighborhood, or if a bomb went off in your neighborhood, and you're looking at everything around you and things look the same, but also everything has changed. The grief feels raw, overwhelming, and exhausting. The simplest of tasks feels so impossible. You may experience brain fog, which makes it really hard to make decisions, to think clearly. One story that I love to share is in the first few weeks after my husband had died, I was gathering up all the important paperwork to give to my attorney to take through probate. And I remember sitting in my office floor. I had a home office at the time, and I was separating like all the pages of important papers. And I had specifically put my car titles in one spot. And when I came back into my office the next morning to gather up all the papers to take to the attorney's office, I could not find those car titles. I would spend hours over the next couple of weeks looking for these car titles. I felt like I was going crazy. I flipped through every single piece of paper, one page at a time, all the files, all the boxes, all the folders. I looked in trash bags. I looked outside of the trash can. I looked everywhere for these car titles. And I would find them 1 year later across my house in the kitchen in a silverware drawer that I like never used. Now, how in the world did I go from setting aside car titles, putting them in a specific spot, and then thinking I needed to carry them in the kitchen and put them in a silverware drawer? I have no idea. But that's what it's like when you're first experiencing being a widow. You feel numb, lost, or essentially like you're in survival mode. And if you have ever had the experience of having a newborn who doesn't sleep at night, maybe you're only getting a couple hours of sleep at night, you know that sense that you're just a zombie and you're walking through life and you're going through life and life is like happening around you, but your whole world is completely different. So when you are in this first season of widowhood, So, again, this is what I call devastation or survival mode. What we want to do in this season is, first of all, give yourself permission to grieve. Give yourself grace and allow yourself to lower the expectations that you have for yourself. I'm a high achiever. I'm very goal oriented. I'm the person that my family depended on me. My thousands of employees depended on me. Everyone depended on me. And so I was used to doing whatever it took to just get things done. Like I could do anything. But when I was in my early days of grief, I felt a lot of shame and I felt a lot of guilt because all of a sudden I was struggling to do things that I could have done in my sleep before my loss. That would have just been so easy. And like, I should be able to do my laundry. I should be able to mow the lawn. I should be able to do all of these things. And now all of a sudden, I can't even keep up with a pile of papers. I can't even keep up with the fact that I need to get the tires rotated on my car. I'm having to use post-it notes and reminders on my phone and appointments on my calendar because I can't focus. I can't keep up. I can't even watch a TV show. So during this season of widowhood, you want to just give yourself a ton of grace. You want to lower the expectations for yourself and you want to accept all the help that you can from other people. Other people will say, let me know if there's anything you can do to help. If you need anything, let me know. And as grievers, we know that's actually not helpful. In fact, it puts the burden on us to come up with what this person could do. So if you're in the first stage of widowhood, I actually have a free checklist for you. It's a very detailed checklist of things that you like, ideas of things that people could do to actually help you, whether it's giving you a DoorDash gift card, whether it's mowing your lawn, doing your laundry, taking your kids shopping for Christmas. Like, there's so many ideas on there of ways that people can help you that you can look at the list, you can decide what it is that you want help with, or you can give that list to friends and family and say, hey, if there's anything on here that you'd be willing to do, please let me know. And you can get all of that totally for free on my website, bravewidow.com/start, START. Okay, so that's season 1, devastation. You're in survival mode. At this point, you're just trying not to drown. You're trying to breathe. You're trying to survive. And although people need a lot of help during the season, sometimes we just get swallowed up with all of the to-dos and the paperwork and the notifications that we struggle to just be able to get a lot of anything else done. So if that's it, hey, guess what? You're normal. And there's another season that is coming. Okay, season 2, I call desperation or maintenance mode. So for me, and everybody's timeline is different, and I know that's aggravating to hear, and I could explain why, but for time purposes today, I'm just going to reiterate that everyone's timeline is a little bit different. So season 2 is desperation. This is when you're in maintenance mode. And so for me, this was about 6 months to a year out. And I had this realization of, okay, I'm in this new routine. I have my feet underneath me a little bit. Wow, is this going to be the rest of my life? It was super deflating and discouraging. This was the season where I wondered if it was ever going to be possible to love my life again, to even enjoy life. Like on a scale, like a joy scale of 1 to 10, the maximum I was able to feel at that time was like a 5. And it was scary to me. It was scary because at this time, I was 38 years old. And I was like, how am I going to live another maybe 40, maybe even 50 or more years? And this is the rest of my life? Seriously, this? I felt like a hollow version of myself, like a shadow of the vibrant person that I used to be. And I felt like time had pressed pause for me and for where I was. But for everyone else, it was just rushing by. Like for everyone else, life was just going on. And I was just stuck in this weird dimension of a horrible reality. And this was my new life. So when you're in season two and you're in this maintenance mode and you're in desperation, you're functioning, you're going through the motions, you're powering through, as people say, but everything feels dull. Loneliness often hits the hardest around this season. By this point, family and friends have faded away. I read a statistic somewhere and I cannot find it again. So I'm sorry, I cannot credit wherever I got this from. But I read a statistic that widows will lose 75% of their social circle in the first year. 75%. Now, for most widows that I talk to, it's actually probably closer to 90 or 95%. But it's incredible that in that first year, you lose family and friends of people around you. You are questioning your purpose and your identity. Who am I now? What's the point of living now? I often wonder, what is the point of even having dreams or having goals when he's not going to be here to witness them? Okay, so I had a goal and I achieved it. Great. But my person isn't going to be there to see it. So won't that just make me more sad than if I never had achieved that goal? I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't even want the same things that we wanted before. Like, we had wanted to retire on 1,000 acre ranch, right? This is a big dream. We wanted to have a huge ranch out in the middle of nowhere, horses, cows, all of the things. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, ugh, do I want to do that now? It sounds romantic and nice when you're with someone, but by myself, like that would be really overwhelming. I don't want that anymore. I don't even care about that anymore. And so the second season is really lonely. Family and friends often wait for you to go back to normal. They're waiting for you to go back to the person that you were. Maybe your employer is waiting for you to go back, or your church is waiting for you to go back to normal and be the person that you were before. But on the inside, you're screaming like, that is never going to happen. I'm not the same person I was. I don't even know if it's possible to go back to the same person I was. So, what I tell widows who are in this season or grievers who are in this season is to think of your old life as being a pile of ash. Like your old life is gone, there is no going back. And it might sound harsh and it might sound cruel, but it's said from a place of love. Your old life is gone. Now we get to rebuild something new. You can still build something beautiful and amazing and fulfilling for the future, but no one is coming to save you. You are going to have to be proactive and to rebuild it yourself. It took me a really long time to figure out that was the reality and that was actually like normal. This is where a lot of widows get stuck. So when people say they get stuck in grief, a lot of times it's in this season or it's like transitioning from season 2 to season 3. But people feel like things are pointless, hopeless, they're discouraged, and they feel like everyone's just forgotten about them. So what we do in season 2 to start moving out of season 2 and to move towards season 3, we want to first rebuild our structure and routine. So this is going to help us with brain fog. This is going to help us with feeling like we have our feet underneath us. We have a routine that sustains us. And some people don't like a lot of structure. Some people don't like a lot of structure. They don't like having every hour planned out. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having a routine where it feels like, for the most part, what's going to happen through the day or throughout the week. If you have a list of things that need to be done, you can prioritize them calendar them. You can get those things done. You don't feel like you're just being smacked around by grief and you're just subject to everyone else's demands on you. The paperwork the attorney wants, the bills that have to be paid, the person who wants you to babysit their child or whatever. You aren't just a victim to what everyone else wants from you, but you have control over your schedule, over the things that you're focused on, and it's done in a way that supports you. Also, in this season, we need to find a support system, and this is crucial. So, some widows feel like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to go to a group. I'm not ready to go to therapy. I'm not ready to talk to other widows. I just need more time. But here's the reality. As I shared earlier, time on its own does not heal your wound. So I know that you're hurting. I know that it feels super overwhelming and hard. And at the same time, grief and emotional pain can be as urgent as a physical wound or physical pain. So if you break your arm, you seek medical care immediately, typically. And if you don't, yes, your broken arm, depending on how bad it is, depending on the type of break and all of that, it might heal on its own. It would probably take a lot longer. You're going to be subject to infection, all kinds of stuff. And if it heals back in a funky way, it may actually have to be rebroken and reset in order to heal. And overall, it's just a much more complicated healing process. So, just as if you have a physical wound or a physical injury, you immediately seek medical care, as someone who's grieving or someone who's a widow, you want to immediately seek help from an emotional support structure, from emotional healing and processing perspective. And even though your mind and your brain might be telling you it's too soon, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, the longer that you put it off, the more triggering events you may come across, the more difficult it may be for you. So in season 2, it's important that we find a solid support system of other people who have gone through a similar journey or who understand how it impacts you. No one can understand your unique relationship and exactly how you feel. But as a widow, my heart can go out to and I can understand the pain of another widow. And I can be there for that person in a way that someone who's never experienced that might struggle with. Also, in season 2, we want to start exploring who you are now or who you want to be. So, even though it might feel hopeless, it might feel pointless, it might feel like, why would I even do this? My person's not going to be here. What we want to do is we want to hold on to this tiny seed of faith that it is possible to have a life that you love again. And for widows or grievers who are like, I can't believe that, I will believe it for you. I will hold space and I will believe for you. So you can borrow my belief that it is possible to have a life that you love again. You just need a tiny little seed, like the tiniest belief. Even if you think, I don't know how, but I do believe that some way, somehow it's possible. It's important here that you believe that. Even if it's the very tiniest seed, or if you need to use my belief that it's possible and lean on me, that's fine. Okay, so as we're moving into season 3, this is a season of exploration, or what I call discovery mode. So we start to have a little bit of hope that we can love our life again. We start to be curious about who we are and what we might want to do and what we might enjoy and what we might want for the future. And this is also the area, as we're coming out of season 2 and going into season 3, most widows find me somewhere in here. They're either in season 2 or season 3. And most widows come to me and I've tried therapy, I've tried grief groups, I've tried the books, the courses, all of those things. They did help me, but now what am I supposed to do next? Is this it? What do I do now? It's not grief groups and therapy is not helping me move forward and create like this next version of my life, whatever that looks like. So in season three, an exploration, this is all about trying things that are new because we got to figure it out together. And this is very much you walking through a trail in a forest and you can't see the end. So it requires us to step out blindly in faith, to try new things, to go to new places, to meet new people, to start to build new friendships and new connections, to try out new hobbies or classes or put ourselves in situations to see what's really resonating with us. And this is the stage where we feel like a toddler, like we're taking a step forward and then we feel the grief, we feel the sadness that our person isn't there. We try something new, we go out to a comedy show and we laugh and we have a wonderful time and then we feel guilty. Like, how can I laugh and how can I have a good time when I'm missing my person so much and I just wish I could talk to them one more time? Okay, so what I teach widows to do is to expand their capacity, to expand their ability to hold two things true that feel opposite but are true. So one is, I love my life that I had, I love my person, and I honor and appreciate the time that I had. And I love my life now, or I want to love my life now. I want to build something new. And just because I want to do this doesn't take away from how I feel about the past. And so, a lot of times in this stage, this is where we feel a lot of guilt for wanting to rebuild, for trying new things, for meeting new people. Sometimes this is where widows may start wanting to date again. Sometimes it may just be forming new friendships. It may just be like, oh, I have a client who had a spouse that was homebound and had a difficulty like couldn't go travel, couldn't go out, couldn't go do things. So as she started now to be able to travel and do new things, there was a lot of guilt. Oh, are people going to think I'm just out here having the time of my life now that my person's gone? Oh, look at her. She's going here and going there and doing all these things that she couldn't do before. I bet she's happy that he's gone. We just feel all this guilt and shame that doesn't need to exist. So I teach you how to navigate all of this. This is a messy part of healing, of growing, of just embracing it all. The sadness, the joy, the excitement, the curiosity, the wonder. Like there's so many emotions that happen in this season. And I teach you not how to make it easy where you never feel those things, but how in the world you navigate them, how you get out of the negative swirls of thought of, oh, what are people going to think? And I shouldn't be doing this and I should be doing that. And all of the expectations that we think other people have for us. I teach you how to navigate that. So in this season, you're curious about trying new things. You may feel guilty for laughing again or trying to rebuild your life. Glimpses of joy, but grief is still very much present. And it's a very awkward kind of a phase, but it also can be exciting because you can start to see signs that you're moving forward. So, what we want to do in this season is give ourselves permission to explore without guilt, to figure out who we want to become now, what are the things that we want in our life, and to be a little adventurous. So, this season can be really fun, and it can also be really difficult if you don't have a guide because it can be very confusing. You can feel lost and you can give up because those first few times, like I started going to real estate investor meetings because I wanted to learn about real estate. I didn't really know much about it and I hadn't ever invested. So I felt like a fraud wanting to go to these meetings. Like, why would I go to a real estate investor meetings? I'm not an investor, right? What are people going to say? What are they going to think? Are people there nice? Are they snobby? I don't know. And so in this phase, it can feel fun to be like, oh, I've always wanted to try this. But then there's a lot of fear because I haven't gone there and I don't know the people and where are the bathrooms and who am I going to sit by and are they going to be nice? Are they going to judge me? What if they're all like multi-billionaires and I'm the only person there that's never done any of this? Like having someone to guide you through this season is incredibly valuable because they can help normalize some of the things that you're experiencing and also give you ways to get out of all those swirling thoughts of doubt and fear, negativity, and all of that. So this is where I help most widows is season 2, season 3. We are taking small risks with new hobbies, with I teach people how to meet new people and make friends, even if you're a hardcore introvert, even if you're a homebody, even if you hate small talk and you don't know what to say, even if you're an awkward person, I can help you. I can help you make new friends, make new connections. We also want to surround yourself in this season with people who are encouraging growth. And unfortunately, a lot of times that's not our family and friends. So a lot of times this might be new people that you've met. It might be people who are on a similar journey as you or who have similar interest. But these are people who are going to encourage you to grow, not put you down for trying. Okay, and then season 4. This is where we are thriving. This is the season of creation, or what I call manifestation mode. And I know there's a lot of things going on online right now about manifestation, and some people might feel like it's a little too woo-woo for me. But by definition, what we're talking about here is determining what it is that you want to create and bring forward in your life. So this isn't about just surviving anymore. This is about truly living and truly thriving, about stepping into your confidence. So at this stage, your confidence has returned. You've learned how to rebuild it. We learn that typically in season 3. So we're learning how to rebuild our confidence. You're learning how to trust yourself with decisions you make or with trying new things. You're setting goals, you're creating new dreams, and you are accomplishing them. So I've had clients who have published books, who've started a business, who've changed careers, who've gotten remarried, who have a baby on the way, who are breaking years and generations of family dysfunction and trauma because they want something better for their family and future generations. Like people that are doing really big things. And typically they're in this season or they're getting very close to this season. You still miss your person and you still may feel that you want to have a conversation with them. But instead of waves of sadness, instead of waves of sorrow that brings you to your knees, those waves are now waves of gratitude and love for the time that you had together. Yes, I still get that feeling in my heart, ugh, I wish I could talk to him one more time, or I wish that he could just be here and see what all is happening. But I feel that for a little while, and then I'm happy and I'm fulfilled knowing that I'm grateful for the time that we had together. It doesn't control me or bring me to my knees anymore. You have created now your own new identity and you are owning it. You are starting to build a life that you love and that you enjoy and that you can truly, authentically feel excited about. In this stage or in this season, you may also be helping other people who are earlier on in the journey. And for some people, that's very rewarding to be able to help encourage and help others along who are earlier on in their journey. So just to recap, our 4 seasons of widowhood. Season 1 is devastation. We're in survival mode. Season 2 is desperation, which is maintenance mode. Season 3, exploration. We're in discovery mode. And then season 4 is creation, where we are in manifestation mode. And then as a final thought, what I would just share with you is that what I teach is that widowhood isn't about moving on. And I know people get very, I don't want to say triggered, but people get very touchy about people saying moving on. But what I teach is that widowhood and the seasons and this journey is about moving forward in a way that honors your past and also embraces your future. Which season are you in right now? I would love to know. For those of you who are going to be listening or watching the replay, or you're listening or watching the podcast that's going to come out on Tuesday, I think April 1st, if I've got my dates right. As you're listening to this, I'm hosting the free 3-day challenge of moving from grief to growth. That will be April 8th through the 10th at 11 a.m. Central Time each day. We have a free private Facebook group that you can join. I will be in there helping to coach people. And then, of course, I'll be teaching and coaching live those 3 days. I would love to see you there. To sign up, you can just go to bravewidow.com and you will find the link to sign up right there on the homepage. Also, for our members who are part of the Brave Widow membership community, I am going to be hosting a group session of the Grief Recovery Method. Grief Recovery Method is the only evidence-based grief recovery program that is evidence-based. So it has been demonstrated by Kent State University to actually truly help people process grief. And this isn't to say that you're going to be fully healed in 8 weeks and everything's great and wonderful. But for me, this had, and what I have seen in taking many widows through this program, is that this helps to close a lot of the open loops that are maybe out there. So this helps to resolve all of the unsaid communications, the unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations that you may have had about the future, and really help with this feeling of guilt, of shame, of all of the things that we wish we could say just one more time to our person. I cannot say enough great things about Grief Recovery Method, and I would love for you to be part of that. To be part of that with this program, you need to be part of the Brave Widow membership community, and you can do that by going to bravewidow.com/join. And I would love to see you. All right, that's all that I have for today. So thank you to everyone who joined me live. This was really a lot of fun. And thank you to everyone who will be watching or listening to the replay. I would love to know what season of widowhood that you're in. You can send me an email, emily@bravewidow.com. Let me know what season you're in and your thoughts about how you transition to that next season. If you're newly widowed and aren't sure where to start, you need the Brave New Widow Starter Kit. Inside Brave New Widow, you'll find a starter guide to help you through your first few months, a quick start guide you can share with family and friends so they know how to help you, and a collection of some of the frequent topics that widows want to learn more about. To get the Brave New Widow series, just go to bravewidow.com/start. It's free and you'll get instant access. That's bravewidow.com/start, START. See you there.